Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot. Now, I did promise not a lot of readings this month, but I really did want to do a reading for the new moon. I don't know why. I've missed the last 2 months of new moons due to my schedule, but I feel like there's something special about this full moon, and I can't tell you why. Once I look at the astrology, I can sort of tell you why, but bear in mind, if you watch Minnow Pond, it's a really good channel, well worth going to watch. He live streams daily at 4 p.m. Eastern. It might be Pacific, but I think it's 4 p.m. Eastern. But yeah, look him up. He's a really good tarot reader, and he calls his astrology Chris's Crappy Astrology. I have not got such an alliterative name for mine yet. I did think of one, but I've forgotten it. I don't particularly want to go with Dee's Despicable Astrology or anything like that. But anyway, the astrology of this new moon is really interesting. But I have also, I have put a link in the description down below for Kesenya Moore's video this week about the new moon and about the whole week around it, the Sun trine Pluto and leading up to the new moon, which is a great time for making requests. Simple as that. Making requests of the universe. Now, I think that these will go on air on YouTube later than the peak of the Sun trine Pluto that she's talking about, but it doesn't mean that the energies have disappeared if you didn't know about them. It's you just have to put yourself in that Monday frame of mind, but specifically this Monday as I'm filming this right now. So it's a general reading. It's a general reading this time by element, due to time considerations. My apologies. So being a general reading rules apply, you know, timing's far from absolute. If someone else appears in the reading, I can get the who is who mixed up. Roles can be reversed, as they say, but basically the cards don't come with name tags. Timing is not absolute. In a way, Chris Witecki on his show was saying that the Virgo season defines the rest of the year that's going along. I mean, we have those definition points all the time on certain specific items, but the Virgo season helps define certainly the rest of, well, the academic year, you know, if nothing else. Like I say, it will be by element, and my brain has just gone blank. So there'll be a timestamp. That's what I was going to say. There will be a timestamp down below for you to fast forward to the reading if you're one of these people that wants to watch more than one element. Because again, I would say watch your sun, your moon and your rising signs. Obviously your moon, obviously your sun, and really obviously your rising sign, because it was the most important one in ancient astrology. So if you happen to be one of those people who have a different element for each sign, well, you've got a lot of watching to do. But let me dive first into the symbols for this degree. This new moon, occurring on the 17th, is occurring at 25 degrees Virgo. Now, the Chandra symbol for this is an old man counting gold coins. Now, when I saw that, to start off with, I was like, that's nowhere near as... You've heard me in some of my degree readings or some of my other moon readings when I've gone into the degree, and it's been a beautiful and intricate image. But then again, on second thought, so is this one. An old man has a lot of experience. We are talking about the moon conjunct the sun. And the gold coins can certainly represent the sun. They can represent achievements. Gold, if you subscribe to all the tales about the Anunnaki and all of that sort of thing, or monatomic gold, gold can be used to elevate your spiritual vibration. So there's a lot of symbolism implicit in there. Now, all the astrologers are talking about this being a time now for making plans. Despite Mars retrograde that's going on, So it's not maybe a time immediately for enacting on those plans, but it is a time for setting those plans. And I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and this is how I'm going to do it. And if that happens, I've got that contingency plan. But they're not really talking about contingency plans so much as just plans. Now, the interpretation of this image is getting your bearings, determining your limits. I mean, let's face it, we've got all that Capricorn energy going on. Finding a reality fix. Now, I love that image, finding a reality fix, because, yeah, we could do with a reality fix, maybe a reality plumber, electrician, fireman. You know, we could do with quite a lot of reality fixing at the moment. So making sure that everything is there, checking out the manifest details over and again, coming down to earth and becoming sober and straight and clear. You are overwhelmingly convinced that there must come this cleaning up and clearing up. Sick and tired of the pretense and hype, hungry to get down to basics, and somewhat hooked on the quantitative intelligence. Blurring distinctions, intent upon being viable, correct, and self-sufficient. If all these things are taken up with a twinkle of humour, they are digestible. But if they become self-serious and a little too proper, they are deadly and sickening. You learn to throw off the attitude and cleave to the substance of getting things right, unapologetically and steadfastly. And, by the sound of that, hopefully with a smile on your face, otherwise it could all go wrong. Now, it's really interesting, this, I've just even noticed this in the interpretation, this coming down to earth and becoming sober and straight and clear. Because if I then click on to my new moon aspects, I notice that the moon is both counter-parallel Neptune and in opposition to Neptune. It's not a huge opposition, it's nearly 6 degrees orb, and it's leaving, but the moon has just come from an opposition of Neptune, and the counter-parallel, where's, I know it exists, where can I see it? That's within 1 1/3 degrees of orb. So it really is positioning itself opposite that Neptune in Pisces, which, as we know, can be great for spirituality and also fantastic for delusions and disappearing up your own backside with how you think the world is, and you know, the perfect definition of a political echo chamber. The other thing is that the moon is parallel to everything that's going on in Aries. Now, it's quincunx Aries, so it's applying quincunx specifically by degree rather than just by sign to Lilith, showing a misunderstanding of Lilith's battle, I think would be a good way to put it. I don't want to dive too much into that one because I'm likely to say something wrong, and that will be Dee's crappy astrology. But it's parallel to Lilith, Chiron. Now there it's showing a point of tension and a point of misunderstanding with the wounds stroke the healing that you are receiving. And maybe with Chiron, with instruction that you are receiving, because this full moon is also square both the north and south node. And if I remember correctly, it is square the galactic center. I know I wrote that down somewhere. So moon... yeah, it's square the galactic center by 1 degree. So the way I interpret that, bear in mind, I am not an astrologer, but the way I interpret that is, for this new moon, we're on our own. Loads of the planets are stationary right now. Saturn is barely moving a degree this month. Pluto is barely moving a degree this month. Mars has just turned retrograde, so it's not really moving very fast yet. So everything's on hold. Everything's standing back. You're on your own. And in a way, that's quite beautiful. It's we are not being pushed or pulled in any particular direction. We're being put in this. I suppose you could say that we ourselves are void of course, if you know what the moon void of course is. The moon is not void. The moon is not void at all. It is coming off of a trine with Jupiter, Pluto and Saturn. Let me see, they are separating, aren't they? So it's stepping away from having a harmonious relationship with that whole Capricorn cluster, Capricorn council, whatever you want to call it. It's had several names on the astrology videos. Not all of them polite, but it's almost like walking away from the restrictions, walking away from in your feelings, walking away from everything that's being hoisted upon us at the moment, to just have a moment in space and go, okay, what am I going to do? Now, you're not going to get to do it now necessarily, but it's a beautiful time to sit and work out what you are going to do. Now, of course, I have a link down there to the Facebook page for this channel, page, group, channel. I get confused with all the different labels, but so for the Facebook page for this channel, now obviously I post these videos, so if you are finding the change in YouTube's notifications as annoying as I have, or as I am, then there's a good place to find it. Also, I post all the astrology videos that are like weather reports and discussing what's going on in the skies at the moment that I find. And sometimes I post other readers, so come and join the Facebook fun. It's always good to receive the odd comment or two. Well, I say this page has been running for a year. I think I've had 2 comments on it. So if you are there on my Facebook page, because there's at least 100 of you, say hello. And there's a link also down there for AstroSeek, which is where you can get yourself a free birth chart. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about your moon and your rising sign, you need your place and your time of birth as well as your date. And then you can work out what's coming over the horizon. That's your rising sign, where the moon was, get all those details. But I imagine if you're watching one of my videos, you already know all of that stuff, so I'll shut up about it. Now, the other thing is the Sabian symbol for this degree, which I'm on completely the wrong page of my little notepad. Bear with me. Now, the Sabian symbol for 25 to 26 degrees Virgo is a boy with a censer serves the priest near the altar. Now, if you look into ritual tradition, the whole purpose of the censer is to hold frankincense, which is to raise the vibration, clear away negative energies, but normally there's something else will do that first. And the frankincense is there to raise the vibration up, to help the priest link into the divine. That's where that tradition of the censer comes from. So that boy is doing an incredibly important job. He may not be the person that the spotlight is on, but he would be missed if he wasn't there. So I really like that idea of the, again, it's clearing. What was it that the Chandra symbol said? It was, you are overwhelmingly convinced that there must come this cleaning up and clearing up. And I must admit, I've been going around doing a bit of spring cleaning. Okay, it's a bit late for spring. But there is that feel in the air of, don't need that no more. Don't need that no more. Need to get rid of that. Need to put that in its proper place. Let's go and sort my filing out so I know where everything is when I need it. All those sort of, not I've had the time to do it, but that's what, you know, piles have been shifting around my house to different shelves. Let's put it that way. So, in summary, I've probably waffled too much. Yeah, 14 minutes in. Let's get on with the card reading. Oh, and plus that Facebook link. I also put my Linktree link down below, but that Facebook page, there's an inbox there. So if you want to contact me for a personal reading, then October, I have a lot more time, and you can also expect to see a lot more videos. So I'm looking forward to that. In the meantime, I'll bring up the cards. Okay then, air signs. So Gemini, Libra or Aquarius, Sun, Moon or Rising. So if you've joined us after the timestamp, welcome. There's a very clear message coming out here for everything that I have said about standing on your own 2 feet and now's the time to plan. Maybe it is indeed, but this is not what the cards are drawing attention to. We start off, in fact, I think what the cards are drawing their attention to is that, yeah, now's the time to plan, but now's the time to listen and watch and be prepared to adjust your plans. Because now seems to slightly be a time of healing and a time of surging forward. We start with Saint Sebastian, as I was about to say. Now, he's the patron saint of wounded healers, for one thing. So we're talking about that Chiron energy, Chiron in Aries at the moment. There is a chance opening for you to heal some really deep old wounds. He's also the patron saint of something else, and I forget what off the top of my head. Athletes. That's interesting because that's very much about breath. And there is a warning with that meditation card that, you know, just pay attention to your breathing and how your breathing is, and seek medical assistance if you need it. And bear in mind, I'm not a doctor, and this is only what it says in the book for the cards. But there is that sense of surging forward no matter what, but surging forward through overcoming some form of, I don't want to use the word tragedy, because in the story of Saint Sebastian, it wasn't a tragedy, it was a deliberate act that the Emperor Diocletian thought Sebastian had betrayed him when he went to go and see prisoners in prison and tried to heal them and convert them to Christianity and what have you. And so he had him tied to a tree and shot with arrows. And allegedly this did not kill Saint Sebastian, and he then went to go around the Roman Empire. Well, I assume preaching the word of Jesus, because there's the word saint in his name, isn't there? But it was, no matter what, act from a point of love and keep surging ahead. But the watch and listen carefully card from the Foxfire Oracle implies that you do exactly that, watch and listen carefully. It is hinting that maybe there's someone in your environment whose motives are not clear. But I don't necessarily think that that's a bad thing, because Voile here, card number 66 from the Fallen Angel Oracle, Voile, one of the Goetic spirits, is very good with creating love, especially the love of a woman for a man, but also for reuniting estranged members of the family. I think as I've not worked with Voile a lot, so let's check what the book says. Yeah, and to encourage reconciliation between old enemies or estranged friends and family. So that there really is that whole coming into a healing time. So if you are surging ahead, it's almost like you've pretty much already done your planning. You don't need to do any more planning. But you do need to let some things go. Now, I've just knocked the book over, but this Proper Burial for Freedom, let's see if I can find that. Straight to it. I want to read this out because I think it's so poignant and I can't put it into words better myself. In order for life to flow and express itself, that which belongs to the world of death must be released. There is nothing to be gained and everything to be lost by trying to hold on to that which no longer serves us, which is better left to die, though it takes great spiritual courage and trust to allow this to happen. Osiris, Lord of the Dead, guides you now to release that which no longer needs to be part of your life so that you may be free. So there's two edges to that, isn't there? There's the reconciliation aspect and there's also the, yeah, I don't need this anymore. And there's a big difference between, yeah, I don't need this anymore and yeah, I don't want this anymore, because you may find that some of the things that you want, you don't need, and some of the things that you need, you don't want, you know? So, it's almost, I feel like there is that, with the Queen of Cups right on the bottom of these two cards and Four of Cups straight after, you are being guided. You are being guided on a path of how to heal yourself for one thing, but heal others, because this Immortal Treasures card from the Kuan Yin Oracle, it basically says, it's not quite you're a wizard, Harry, but it is, you are a healer. You have a divine healing energy that emanates within you and you are going to have chance to use it. Now, whether you use this through your actions, through your words, or whether we're talking full on Reiki, Seikem, Huna, hands-on healing, you know, sort of healing candles and crystal grids and all that. But I'm thinking the more effective healing will be through your actions and through your words. Because there is this whole, this seems all to be talking about your connections, where connections have been broken and where connections can be rebuilt, and where some connections just need to go, no more. And I do get the distinct impression that there will be a connection where you just go, yep, no more. And that causes the other end of that connection to go, what? Oh, and you mean I was doing that? Oh, you know, and gives them that healing, gives them that realization, in which case under the auspices of Vual, you can be free to let them back into your life, but you have to, they can only come back if they are demonstrating an awareness of what they have done. Just as you can only return if you have demonstrated an awareness of what you have done. So again, roles can get reversed on these cards. You know what I mean? This could be you, this could be somebody else. But it's very much about connections. And there is a transformation of these connections once the ingredient of healing is put in. There is happiness, Six of Cups here, contentment, and growth. There's that sense of memories and nostalgia and awareness of the road that you have taken to get where you are today. But also there is so much this focus of listening. Just listening without judgment. Meditation. When I was taught to meditate, that was how I was taught to meditate. Listen for every sound. Identify it. If it's a threat to you, get up and do something about it. If it's not a threat to you, just dismiss it, move on to the next sound and identify that one, and so on and so on and so on. But with the watch and listen carefully and the meditation card, which is also indicating some level of discipline having to be applied by you. And I think there may be an attitude of, really? I've got to keep doing this? Yeah, you do. Yes, you do. Maybe there's some way that you could do it better. But there is guidance and transformation coming to guidance coming to you to make it obvious. And that guidance ain't going to be by some 70-foot tall angel manifesting in the sky and pointing its sword at you and declaring you this, that and the other, or, you know, pronouncing some revelation or other. It is just inner senses and other people's words. You know, who is it? Is it Maya Angelou that said, if somebody shows you who they are, believe them? Because you are aiming for a state of balance. You have done really well of, God, you can't make this up. So we have 4 cards flip over, which I kept all 4 cards, but the bottom of the deck. So we start with 9 of Pentacles, as standing securely on your own. Then we have the Hermit, again on your own, but seeking your own inner light. Then we have the Star, which I will relate to this Judgment card of information and wisdom coming through. An 8 of Pentacles where you are deciding to work on something. So it's quite possible that for your planning that you've got to do under this new moon, which is not apparent on these cards, you already know what you're going to do. What you need to plan under the auspices of the Virgo season is, the Virgo new moon even, is to take care of the details. I mean, that's what Virgo does. You know, it takes care of the minutiae of, it's all right going, I'm going to open a shop. I think I used this example in the water. No, I haven't even done the water, the earth reading. But yes, there's a lot of people opening a lot of shops in my readings this month. But if you're opening a shop, it's all right going, I'm going to open a shop. No, you need a business plan. You need backing. You need cash flow projections. You need reliable suppliers to be sourced and contracts to be drawn up with them, even if they're not signed at the moment. There's no need to be signed because we're not moving ahead yet. We are taking care of all the details so that everything is, once we can move ahead, Mars retrograde is over, so November the 13th onwards, we can then go, right, I know what I'm doing now. Here's my list, and I just work my way down the list one by one. But what's important for you seems to be elements of reunification, proper understanding and forgiveness in 2 directions. I don't know where I've just got the forgiveness bit from, but if you've got old enemies and estranged friends, then I would imagine forgiveness is well going to take a part of it. And also with Saint Sebastian, forgiveness was has to have been a thing because he didn't then go around the empire fomenting dissent against the emperor, who some say was his lover. So the energy of Saint Sebastian is particularly good for LGBTQ members of the community as well. Again, giving you that power to keep on surging forward no matter what you face, no matter who says what. And yeah, you're making a mental note of who says what, but it doesn't mean that you're necessarily doing anything more than measuring the strength or quality of a person's character and then choosing, do I keep this person, this connection? You know, it doesn't have to be people, it can be organizations, it can be items, but it's going to really be people, isn't it? You know, organizations are made of people. But philosophies would be another thing actually that does work under that model of, do I need this anymore? Is this dead? Am I beating a dead horse? Oh, that's what I could call the reading, nice and cheerful. Am I beating a dead horse? I wonder if that'll get the views up. But this line at the bottom is beautiful, and it's nearly, if you notice, 2 major arcana and the rest of cups. You know, so because I'm not worried about this. This is telling me that your material life, you've gone through a lot of your own healing stuff. You've gone through all the stuff that you can do on your own. And no, you don't need other people to heal, but you can gain some healing by healing other people. You know, it's like a mutual thing. The age of Aquarius is supposed to be an age of community. So there is that level of we need to come together and look at the challenges the planet's facing at the minute. You know, we need to come together. End of story. We need to come together. So we need to, I mean, I don't know what countries on this earth at the moment are not hugely divided. We have division. I mean, America, yes. Britain, yes. Belarus, yes. Oh, what was that island? I forget which island it was, but the people are setting against the government on Mauritius. Well, I hope Mauritius is an island. My geography is not that good about Mauritius. But I'm sure they're an island. But there is division everywhere at the moment, whether it's politically based, whether it's the division between most of the planet going, oh my God, can we do something about global warming, please? And numerous governments and corporations replying, what global warming? What? It's nice. What are you worried about? There is the division of, I wear a mask to protect you, in the face of, I'm an independent person, no one's telling me to wear a mask. Which, I don't agree with that opinion at all. Wear a mask, please. Because the more of you that wear masks, the more people will wear masks. And then the sooner we get rid of this disease. But there's a lot of healing on offer, but there's not a lot of action called for you in this reading. It's more watching, listening, understanding, and then when a chance for some healing comes up, grabbing it with both hands probably sounds like a too active way of describing it, but yeah, grab it with both hands. Okay then, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This is a nice reading. This promises whatever your planning is, and I think that is still in place here, especially with that finishing with the Eight of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. You've had your moment of, aha, this is what I want to do. Now it looks like you are going to be concentrating on who you are going to be doing it with, which I think is a really nice image. So enjoy, best of luck. Don't get too bored. There is a reason for you being called to do everything that you have, but let that which needs to pass, let it go. That which belongs to the realm of the dead, let it pass through and go to the realm of the dead. You are expected to carry on whatever, and you can. That's all I've got to say. See you next month.